For all the best boxing content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and punch that bell for notifications.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are set to go with our next bout of the evening, scheduled for 8 rounds of action in the super middleweight division. This bout is brought to you by DiBella's DiBella Entertainment, sponsored by Manfredi Auto Group, Nulio.com, and Everlast. Introducing your 3 judges scoring this contest ringside: Julie Letterman, Robert Perez, and John Potere. Your referee for this contest, Mr. Steve Willis. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the black and white. He weighed in officially at an even 162 pounds. His professional record, 15 victories against 9 defeats. He has 10 wins coming by way of knockout. From Rochester, New York, Russell Spiderman Jordan. And his opponent across the ring, he's fighting out of the red corner. He wears turquoise and purple. He weighed in at a ready 162.5 pounds. Professional record, a perfect one. 12 fights, 12 victories, 7 of them coming by way of knockout. From Wilmington, North Carolina, LAMAR, the boxing Q, Russ.
Okay, gentlemen, you both see the instructions in the dressing room. I want you to obey the commands right now. This belt line, all this is good. This is good right here. Low here, this is low. Right here, normal, right here. All right, all good. Tap gloves, it's gonna work.
All right, so you've got LAMAR RUSS, of course, in those purple, blue trunks. The Spiderman, Russell Jordan, in the black trunks.
Well, you know, when you look at these guys' records, a couple of things jump out at you. First of all, LAMAR RUSS has beaten 2 undefeated prospects in a row. He fought Jonathan Cepeda, who was 12-0, a big prospect at the time.
Yeah, who we've seen on Broadway Boxing.
Exactly, and he KO'd him in 1 round. Jose Alonso, 13-0, KO'd him in 4 rounds. Russ has proved himself against some pretty top opposition. And when you start talking about top opposition, then you're looking at the one credential that jumps out at you when you look at the record of Russell Spiderman Jordan. He fought Sergio Gabriel Maravilla Martinez in a 4-round fight in the Bronx. That was Martinez's first introduction to the UFC.
And that should have been a knockdown. Right knee touch.
He buckled the Spider-Man, and he's got him hurt.
Wow, this is an impressive start to the fight.
He's pounding the body.
You know, he'd be better off going downstairs right now. He hurt him. He's protecting the head. The body's wide open. He should be going for the body right now.
Yeah, that left hook is there to the body.
But what he should do, honestly, he should step back. Make Jordan come to him. Because Jordan is on unsteady legs.
The legs are wobbly, and you can see Jordan trying to hold him off with that right jab.
I think Russ got cheated out of a knockdown because I thought the knee of Spider-Man touched the ground. And keep in mind, 2 very tall middleweights, but this is the first lefty that Russ has fought as a pro.
And it doesn't seem to be giving him any problems at all.
Not at all.
No, I'm very high on this kid Russ, and by virtue of his accomplishments, you know, he's done it in his few fights. He's now the kid's only been in 12 pro fights. He's 12-0, but he's fought some top guys, and he's proving himself every fight.
And Jordan has survived what was early on a devastating left hook that rocked him.
It took Sergio Martinez in the prime of his career into the 4th round. Russell Jordan's a tough guy.
And I was there when Russell Jordan, I thought, beat Sean Porter. He was an 08 Olympian.
I thought the same thing. But Russell doesn't look deterred, you know. And yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I think his knee touched, but he's fighting back, and he's landing.
Yeah, these 2 mix it up.
Well, it's funny, we don't think of Russ necessarily as a big puncher, yet he knocks Cepeda out in the 1st round on Showbox, and then probably scored a knockdown that wasn't called one here on the 1st round against a tough guy in Jordan, Spider-Man.
This is a young guy that's getting better with every fight. I mean, he really is. He's 26 years old, but he's really in the improvement stage of his career. I don't think he's, I think he's 3 or 4 fights from really being legitimately a top 10 contender.
And it looks like Jordan here is going to survive this first round.
He's not only surviving, he's throwing punches and he's fighting.
Breathe easy out there now. Breathe easy.
Vaseline on his face.
They really did. Those punches just slide off of the Spider-Man.
I got a really warm spot in my heart for guys like Spider-Man. I really do.
Where would boxing be without them, Lou?
No, but it's a dying breed. The professional opponent, the guy that's not showing up trying to lose, the guy that's not yet in the mentality of being a loser, that if you gives you an honest fight.
Oh, and he just stuck Russ with a right hand.
You're right, Lou. He's not looking for next week's fight.
No, he's trying to win. He's trying to win, and he's always tried to win. And that's why I book him time and time again, because you know what? This guy's an honest fighter.
And to Lou's point, for the viewers, for the most part, opponents, they take fights. They have 2-3 fights booked. So when they go in the ring, they're not trying to get hurt because they know they got to fight next week.
One of the things Russ has to remind himself is he's not a puncher. And what really got him here to this 12-0 record, despite a couple of good knockouts, was a good jab, good boxing ability. And that's what you want to see him do a little bit more of here. He's not flicking the jab quite enough. He hurt Jordan in the first round. He felt that. And I think he's smelling blood instead of smelling blood slowly. Pick him apart, open him up, use your jab. That's what you'd like to see me doing a little bit more of. That's why he's still a work in progress and why I'm not rushing him at 12-0.
And I like what I'm seeing in Russell Jordan. Nice jab, tight defense on the inside, and he's making the younger prospect think.
And here comes Russ right back with a left-right of his own. Spider-Man, and he gets
nice left hand.
And another one.
That left hook hurt him a little bit.
Another left hook by Russ.
He's wide open for left hooks, and I think that Russ has noticed that.
Lou, you mentioned Russ shouldn't think of himself as a puncher, but I tell you, in this matchup so far, he's the puncher.
He's been the puncher in his last 4 or 5 fights. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe he's emerging as a puncher, but that left hook is some punch.
And he's facing not only his first lefty, but a guy who's 6'2" and is a lefty.
And by the way, this is a very bright kid, LaMar Russ, a college graduate. He's got his fraternity tattooed on his back.
Absolutely. That's why he's the boxing Q of Mega
I like him already. College grad. I like him already.
Brian Adams, the college grad.
I want to tell you something, Brian. That was a consideration when I signed him. It really was.
Oh, here comes Spider-Man.
You know what? He got his attention.
Yes, he did. He tags Russ Smith with a good left-right combination.
But for 2 guys who are tall boxers, this is a fast pace with a lot of power shots.
Russell Jordan likes to fight. And anytime he gets that separation, the arm length separation, Russ is able to exploit that and throw big shots. So Jordan needs to close the gap and just stay close.
Final seconds here of round 2.
Ooh.
Russ missed with a left hook.
LaMar Russ and that young man you covered the other night on Showbox, John Thompson out of Philadelphia, that'd be some scrap.
It would be, because Thompson, again, a tall middleweight, but he likes to fight.
And so does this guy. And they both leave themselves open for a little damage too.
So this is round 3. LaMar Russ in those blue trunks, and he gets stuck with a left hand by Jordan. He follows it up with another one. Now here comes the Spider-Man.
But when this match was made, I told Steve Farhood, I said, you know what? Russell Jordan, this is a live body. I like him. If he's not worn or shot, so to say, I like him in this fight.
But you know what? If you believe in a kid like LaMar Russ and you want to get this kid to championship caliber level, then he's got to be in there with the Russell Jordans, win, lose, or draw. And if he can't pass the test, if he can't walk through this kind of fire, then he don't deserve to be there.
Absolutely, Lou. You're doing the right thing by him.
He misses with a left hook.
And he might have hurt
think he
himself
hurt
missing.
himself.
I think he might have hurt himself missing.
He's lucky Jordan didn't take advantage of him, which Jordan had
Here
every
he
right
comes
to do.
now. Here comes Jordan. Right hands.
He's bleeding from the nose, Russ, by the way.
And now, although, you know, we saw the first 2 rounds.
Nice combination by
Yes.
Jordan.
And here comes
Right
Lamar's
back, Russ.
Right back.
Now it doesn't look like this is Russ' game. He should be fighting when he wants. This round, he's fighting because Jordan wants
Well,
to.
I got to tell you something right now.
And his mouth wide open.
Lamar Russ may have a broken nose right now. I mean, he's bleeding profusely from his nose. He's probably swallowing blood. That's probably why his mouth's open. He's got a little bit of adversity he's facing right now, Lamar Russ.
Both guys, big shots here.
Russ is overthrowing a little bit, and he's leaving himself vulnerable and open because
And
he's
it's
overthrowing.
unnecessary. He's the better boxer.
That's why I said I think he's fighting because Jordan wants him to fight this round.
No, he's fighting Jordan's fight right now.
Jordan trying to fight
nice
off
shot.
the rope. Lamar Russ has got Jordan on the ropes.
You know, that bleeding from the nose, swallowing that blood, creates a little bit of sense of urgency sometimes in a fighter. So that may be one of the reasons also you see Russ a little bit out of control right now.
Well, the thing about the nose would explain why his mouth is wide open, because he's definitely breathing from the mouth.
He's breathing from the mouth, and I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that he's got a broken nose right now.
Now Russ needs to step back, work
Exactly.
his jab, and just get back being comfortable.
Brian, that's what a lot of fighters don't realize. You got to give yourselves room to punch.
Jordan trying to fight his way off the ropes. Both guys missing hooks.
Oh,
There's a right
lands.
hand that connects.
Oh, you just need a little space. You just need a little space. Get my angle, Lamar. Get my angle. Get my angle.
Fourth round here.
Ooh, nice butt right
Yeah.
in the middle of Spider-Man's face.
Russ going with the uppercuts. Being warned, don't hold the head when you throw the uppercut.
Russ looks like he wants to get right back into the style of fighting he put on the last round. Inside, physical.
You think Russ is crowding him too much?
I think Russ is, yes, crowding himself too much. Again, he hasn't realized that when he has the separation, that's when he can get those big shots off.
Well, he's trying to knock Spider-Man's head off with every shot now. Everything's heavy and strong. I'd say he's not crowding himself if he goes to the body more, but he's not doing that. Everything's to the head now.
I also think with that broken nose, there's part of him that doesn't really want to go 8 rounds.
It could be, yeah.
And as you pointed out, Steve, the mouth remains open.
And Russell Jordan is a veteran, but he has been stopped.
Nice body shots.
Yeah,
by Russ.
he is pounding the body.
Probably a good idea.
As you see the blood, as you pointed out, Lou, just continues to pour out of the nose of Lamar Russ.
Now, Russ is walking through the fire right now. This is adversity. You see him blowing out of the nose. He's probably swallowing his own blood, breathing out of the mouth. He's been tagged in this fight.
See, this could be a bit frustrating to a young boxer. For 3 rounds, you had a guy
Now
stand
there's a cut. Was that caused by a butt or a punch?
Yeah, there's a
right over the right eye.
Yeah,
of
the
Russell
left,
Jordan.
see
the
that
left
before.
eye of Russell Jordan there. That you can see
Yeah, I think that was a punch.
blood streaming down the side of the face. of Russell Jordan.
You know, both these warriors bleeding right now.
And that's a bad cut because it looks like it's right above the eye.
Oh, and
Couple of
those
combinations here.
lefts are getting to him a little bit.
It's a physically grueling fight.
It is. These guys are scheduled to go 8. Scheduled, I say,
They bumped
to
heads.
go 8.
They clashed heads. took the worst of it.
And that's the round.
And by the way, the third round probably could have gone either way. It was a close round, but benefit of the doubt, I'm giving it to the Spider-Man.
We are on Broadway, right?
We are on Broadway.
Spider-Man and Dark
How many blocks away is that show? Might be right here.
is actually about 50 yards away.
Yeah, just a couple.
The fact that Russ is maybe a little stronger on the inside shouldn't come as a surprise because Jordan has not been a middleweight his whole career. He's been a welterweight for a large portion of his career, and then a junior middleweight.
Yeah, he fought former world champion Louis Collazo at welterweight. Louis Collazo was able to stop him in the 8th round.
But that was a rough fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good left hook there by Lamar Russ.
That left hook's been his biggest weapon of the fight.
Jordan pops him a couple of times with the jab. Here's another left hook by Russ. Follows it up with a right to the body. And now it's Russ coming forward. Body shot again by Russ.
So now he's starting to work those body shots when he get close.
I like what I'm seeing out of Russ the last couple of rounds. He's clearly having problems breathing. His mouth's been wide open for the last 3-4 rounds. But I thought the last couple of rounds he's gotten himself composed and he's fighting a much smarter fight.
Brian, a question for you as a former fighter. I understand that Russ is probably inhaling and breathing a lot of blood, but because he's breathing through his mouth, do you get more tired that way?
It depends. If you know how to control your breathing, it wouldn't affect you that much. But if you don't know how to control your breathing, then yes, it is certainly make you much more fatigued.
Right, because we're always taught to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth.
Correct.
Oh, good left hand by Russell. Ooh. Oh! There's a slip as Jordan goes down.
Well, lefties and righties so often their front feet tangle. I don't know, you guys were saying before that you think Russ is fighting Jordan's fight on the inside. I think Jordan looks a lot more uncomfortable on the inside than Russ does.
Well, particularly now.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Russell Jordan has now gone to, at least he started out this round, moving a little bit, working his jab, then trying to follow up with a left hand. This is the 6th round. Have you got a score this far, Steve?
Believe it or not, I got a 5-zip for Lamar Russ. And I think Brian Adams does not have it 5-zip.
I have a 3-2 for Lamar Russ.
I have it 4-1 for Lamar Russ.
But whatever the score is, I think you get the impression. Yeah, Lamar Russ is winning. But I think you get the impression that Spider-Man has to land something of note here to try to turn this fight and change the momentum.
But already a good learning experience for Lamar Russ. I mean, having to face some adversity, having nose damage early in the fight, having to suck it up a little bit. I mean, I think this is good experience.
Yeah, I think he had to make a mental adjustment, and he has made it, although we still have 3 rounds.
And he's still busy here as he's fighting Russell Jordan on the ropes.
And you're right, Steve. The inside seems to really be to Russ's benefit right now.
Yeah, Jordan's just in defensive mode now. And you know, even though a lot of Russ's shots are soft, a lot of them are hard, but a lot of them are soft. But if you're the judge and you see Jordan against the ropes, what are you supposed to think? One guy's punching, the other guy isn't.
Brian, why is it that every time a guy shakes his head no, you know he's hurt?
Here's a left to the body by Russ. Follows it up with a right.
Believe it or not, sometimes he may not be hurt. I remember when Muhammad Ali fought George Foreman.
And Russ complains of a low blow.
No rest.
No
Referee
rest.
did not give him any time. Well, so much for the old Angelo Dundee saying, if you're tall, fight taller. If you're short, fight shorter. These guys are not fighting tall at all, and they're both unusually tall middleweights. 6'1" and 6'2 and a half.
And here comes Jordan now.
No,
And there's a left right by Russ.
right back with Jordan.
Jordan comes back.
But Jordan,
There's a right hand by
Jordan's
Russ
flirting with
and
danger here.
Jordan. These guys trade shots
This is Broadway boxing.
at its best.
Jordan just looks like he's getting worn down. He's taking rounds, but he's getting worn down.
But still moving.
Now that you mentioned Broadway boxing, Lou, let me ask you a question. When you developed this series, you had in your mind to do it for the viewers or for the boxers?
Had to be a combination of both. You know, I mean, New York fighters needed to be developed. They needed a home. But if you don't entertain people, you ain't gonna have a series that lasts for 12 years.
Round 7 now. If you look at their faces, look, these guys look like they've gone 12.
They've thrown a lot of punches.
Jordan again, back on the ropes, trying to fight his way off.
And I'll tell you, it's worth repeating. If Lou is right, and Russ has a broken nose, you can't. There's no way to tell how much blood he's swallowing, but that can have a very, very, very negative effect on a fighter.
He hit Jordan with a right.
Not if he wins, Steve.
I think it was Henry Armstrong swallowed tons of blood against Barney Ross. He lost the fight.
There's a right hook by Russ.
You see, Jordan just doesn't seem to want to punch back very much right now.
Nice left hook by LAMAR RUSS.
After an unnamed Arturo Gatti fight, he had a few cocktails, and I commented to him. I said, Arturo, you're throwing him back. He said, hey, I drank more blood tonight.
That's a tough man.
I was a tough man. And being inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in a few weeks.
That's right.
Well deserved for the human highlight reel.
Now here comes Jordan. Sticks him with a left hand.
Anything that's getting through and touching that face of Russ right now hurts.
You see the blood flowing anytime he gets touched.
And you know, when you consider the distance, Russ has been 8 rounds only once. It was in his last fight. Jordan's been that distance 5
Good
times.
combination by Jordan.
Jordan's even been 12 rounds.
There's a right hand by Russ.
Nice shot.
Good shot. Backs Jordan up. And I agree with you, Lou. I mean, when you look at Russell Jordan, you're thinking at some point, what's keeping this guy up? But yet, not only is he up, still throwing punches,
But here's
scoring.
where, you know, we've seen a lot of guys on Broadway boxing on occasion have that opponent mentality. And this is where those kind of guys sort of check out. They're down in points in the scorecard. That's clear. We all have them down on points. I'm sure every judge has them down on points. But he's still trying to win.
Yep.
You know, and that's what makes a guy like this a real biatch to fight.
A body, yeah, he's a body.
And it's what makes it a good learning experience for Russ.
And Russ again. Comes at him with the right hand. And Jordan slipping.
They panic, and you know what? Sometimes they check out quicker than the guy that's less talented. Because it's not supposed to happen to them. And you're not seeing that here with Russ. Russ has had that injury happen early in the fight. And he's been swallowing blood for rounds now, and I think he's pretty much dominating the fight at this point.
Well, it is the 8th and final round.
And Russell's going to bring it.
He's going to bring it, and he's come right after it. Oh, there's a left hook by LAMAR RUSS. Another left hook.
You know, that's what happens when you bring it. You leave yourself open for some big shots. His legs are unsteady right now. Russ may have an opportunity right here.
Shot. LAMAR RUSS with a right hook.
Man, Spider-Man has some ticker.
Wow, man, and a big chin. But yeah, you said it. Some ticker and not a loser's mentality.
Hard as an understatement.
What is keeping Russell Jordan up as he is taking hooks, body shots from LAMAR RUSS, and he's still standing.
Well, Lou said it best earlier. He's a professional.
Uppercut by Russ.
There's pride in being a professional.
He's ending this fight on his feet. I mean, he's going to do everything he can to end this fight on his feet. He's taking some big shots in this round.
And if Russ isn't punched out, he should be.
Well, you just see, I mean, right now, Jordan has landed a few punches and Russ isn't throwing much.
Here comes Jordan now going to the body. Right hooks.
Whoa!
Left hook. Another left hook.
Russ better be careful right now.
Here comes Russell Jordan now.
It's almost like he's saying my turn. Nice body shot by
Body shots by Jordan.
It's like the last page of a comic book. Here comes Spider-Man.
That's really. There's a right hand by Russ. Snaps Jordan's head back.
Whoa! Nice shot. And Jordan's still standing. What heart.
Just some thunderous hooks by LAMAR RUSS. What is keeping Russell Jordan up?
I'm going to try to talk Lou into paying both these guys double. What do you think, Lou? I'm quick to spend your money.
I'm losing enough money on this particular show. But you know what? I mean,
If you could, you would.
No, but this is why Russell Jordan will get another opportunity to fight another up-and-coming kid. Because Russell Jordan's a professional fighter. And you know what? Credit, real huge credit to LAMAR RUSS for facing the fire for the first time in an 8-round fight and walking through the fire and putting on the show he's putting on right now.
Just a 4-minute round. I think it feels like it for the fight.
It really does, as these guys both exchanging a flurry of punches.
Oh!
There's a right hand.
Oh, he might be out. He's out. He is out. Oh!
And he missed. Jordan steps away.
I don't know how he's standing right now.
And connect with a right hand.
Oh! Wow, that was good stuff.
And look, Russell Jordan slaps the corner of LAMAR RUSS and tells him good fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of action here at BB King's, we go to the judges' score totals. Robert Perez scores this bout 78-74. Julie Letterman and John Potere both saw this contest 79-73. All for your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated from Wilmington, North Carolina, LAMAR, the boxing Q